Welcome to another Pen Talk with Chris. This is the fourth Delta. Those of you that may have seen some of my earlier Delta videos may have known that I've become very infatuated with Delta fountain pens. So I went from 0 to 4 very quickly. My motivation was the seller in Italy has a limited supply, and I felt that at these prices they were probably going to disappear quickly, so I wanted to take advantage of that. I just received this package about an hour ago. Incredibly fast delivery. I ordered it on Tuesday and it arrived Friday, so it's almost like as fast as Amazon Prime. So I figured we would do some unwrapping on the video. So we'll just take my trusty pocket knife out and let's see what's inside this package. As I mentioned, this is my fourth Delta, so as you can see, the pen is well protected within an internal box. They do a nice job, and I think there might be peanuts inside of this, which is one of the things that I certainly am not a fan of, but they are used to protect things during shipment, and there are some peanuts. So let's just move the peanuts aside. Too bad they aren't real peanuts. They have no protein value as far as I know. So as we bring out the pen box, you'll notice it's the standard Dolcevita box, similar to the Dolcevita that I recently got. It says, doesn't this, Dolcevita collection. And as we turn it around, we'll see that it's the Dolcevita Oro. It's the Fusion Nib in extra fine. I have versions of the Delta nibs from fine, medium, and broad, so I felt I'd try an extra fine. So let's take a look at the pen inside. As usual, there's a lot of nice literature with this, and as we can see, this is pen number 35193, I think, or is that 35 out of something or else? But as you can see, it's dated April 2nd and signed by the seller. And this is the little, guarantee from Delta, some instructions. This is a pamphlet on the Fusion Nib, which, as you can see, I think they're quite proud of it, and from my experiences with it, I can understand that. It writes very, very well, writes consistently well, and I don't see an advantage to getting a gold nib based on its writing ability. As usual, if you look at the box, there's no top, bottom, left, or right, so let's open it up and see what we can see. Yeah, wrong side. So we'll flip it over, and that's the box. Standard, kind of like velour in here, and the pen is very securely held in this nice velvety compartment, and there's some plastic inserts in here that hold the pen in. And as we can see, it's a Dolcevita, a classic design, and the color is unbelievable. We have a muted cloud condition out there, so hopefully the colors are showing up. A nice Delta design in the top of the cap. The clip with a nice rollerball on it. This is my first rollerball one. This is the vermeil, so it's gold plating on top of silver. And let's open this up. Nice chunky pen. And we'll see the Fusion Nib. I'm just very much impressed with these. The writing, nice chunky section here. Again, quality manufacturing is just phenomenal. I just enjoy it. So this was just my unboxing. We'll do a little bit more depth later on, and hopefully you enjoy the view. I certainly do. The pen is posting. I had a choice of a number of different versions of this one. I decided to go with the cartridge converter. Basically, I think it's simpler design, easier to clean, and it was less expensive than the one with the built-in piston filler, which I understand is like a captured converter. There is some engraving at the top. It says Delta, Dolcevita, mid-sized. And as we go down, we can see the number, which corresponds to the documentation I received with the pen. So it's 35193, Italy. I hope the details coming across nicely in the video, because it is a very impressive pen. If you open it up, it still has that fresh acrylic smell. For some pen lovers, that's like a new car smell. So that's nice. And as you can see, the beautiful Fusion Nib in EF extra fine. And that certainly does look like a fine. We'll take a look at how it works on paper later on. A little size comparison. We have the Dolcevita Oro, Pelican M800, Jinhao X450, and the Lamy Safari. I think it's obvious that you can see that the Dolcevita Oro Medium is much bigger girth than any of these other pens. The length is a little bit shorter. I guess that's the medium. I guess the Dolcevita large would be quite large from what I've seen in other videos. But I think this is a good size from my perspective. If we uncap them, I think you'll be able to see the difference in the sections. And you know, the Dolcevita Oro again is a much thicker section by probably 3 or 4 millimeters than any of the other pens. Especially the Jinhao and the Lamy have a very small section, slightly tapered and used. So let's compare it just real quickly against the M800, and I think you can see easily the difference. The nib is also a very good size. It's a little bit larger than the M800 nib. So hopefully this little comparison was useful. So let's get some measurements on this Dolcevita Medium Oro. So let's take a look at the weight. The full pen weighs 33.2 grams. I think it's interesting just to take a look at how much the cap contributes to that weight. It looks like about 10.9 grams. So the cap is about a third of the weight. As I mentioned before, the pen is very well balanced. So let's take a look at the overall length when it's posted. It's about 140 millimeters, or almost 5.4 inches, which is a good size pen. I think the girth is what really makes the pen unique. It's almost 19 millimeters on the barrel, and the cap at the band is about 22 millimeters, so that's a pretty good size. Let's take a look at the section. The section goes from 13 to 14 millimeters, so that's really a good size section. And again, that's one of the things that I think the Dolcevitas are known for. And as you can see, the section has a nice little flare out at the end. It's fairly straight across. It's a short section, but more than adequate for gripping it. What I'd like to do now is let's ink up the pen, and let's see how this fine Fusion, extra fine Fusion nib works. I can't help but admire the color and look of the pen. So as I mentioned before, it's classic Delta screw-in converter, and has a Delta label on it. These seem to work very, very well. They're very secure because they're screwed in. As you can see, the section is not metal. This seems to change from pen to pen based on, I guess, how they want to make it and manufacture it. If you look inside the barrel, You'll notice there's a metal collar that it screws into, so that provides a lot of strength in here. And I think the key thing is, I think these pens are made to last a lifetime. They're certainly guaranteed for that. So let's ink up the pen and put nib to paper. Start with a clean Rhodia dot pad. I was just going to use this ink. I haven't really used this ink much, but I think it's a nice color. I think you need a good color to go with this pen. I think with a fine nib, I don't want to use a lighter color shade. I don't really have an orange ink, and Apache Sunset I think would not work. I've tried it with other fine nibs, and it's not been able to produce a good line. So, as I mentioned and showed you before, we go down once, and it's almost a full fill on the first try. So we'll go through this one more time, and looks like it's a pretty full fill. We'll put the excess ink back into the bottle. No sense in losing that. We'll put the bottle aside. We'll grab our rag to clean off the nib and the feed. We'll assemble the barrel. Put the cap back on the ink, which is always good to do. And this is the first time I've written with this pen, so hold our breath. And as usual, I'm not disappointed at all. It is a fine, so it's not gonna be super smooth, but that's a nice line. Good intensity to the ink, and with a light touch it really glides across the paper. Of course, the Rhodia paper is very smooth, and one of the things to look at is you can still put down a decent patch of ink, but since it's a fine nib, it doesn't dry too fast. Like I said, it's a very nice wet line. And again, I'm not disappointed with any of my Delta pens. Of course, I could do with better handwriting. So this is the one pen I don't think we'll do a close-up. And as you can see, it fits well in the hand. It can also be posted. Posting adds and changes the balance a little bit, but not significant. For long periods of writing, I would probably definitely use this unposted. So that's about it. So, as always, thank you. And the end of my very terrible handwriting. Hope you enjoyed.